has taken over. Let's go. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money. It's Ferrall, coast to coast. Always love hooking up with Andy Baskin, star in Cleveland on the Fan, middays on the radio. He used to travel with the Indians before they were the Guardians, before he had children and a wife, and he was a sinful, troublemaking alcoholic on the road with the baseball team. Although you said you haven't seen the Pirates and play at PNC, just Billy Joel. Is that right?
Just Billy Joel, baby. Just Billy Joel. I spent all those years traveling, and it wasn't like the Guardians / Indians were going there every year. And man, I'm trying to think of the last time I've been by the ballpark. I've walked through there a couple times, but I've never seen a baseball game there. Billy Joel killed it, though. I will tell you that. Absolutely killed it.
Have you been to the Browns Steelers games there?
Yes, I've been. Yeah, like once or twice, I think. Now I'm locked in, man. I'm old. They don't travel me anymore. I sit down. I'm in a studio just like you. I can't get out. I got to make up ideas and make up stories from the road. I got to believe the announcers. It's very scary.
Wow, that is crazy. How was the Billy Joel show at PNC? Was it a romantic evening or?
Yeah, it was good. I went with my wife, my best friend, his wife. Dude, we snuck up into the first row. We were singing Piano Man. Billy looked out at me, and I looked back at Billy. I was like, hey, what's up? And he's like, we didn't start the fire. I was like, okay, bud, sounds good to me. We're having fun.
He actually, what did he do at the Garden in New York? Like 50 shows live at Madison Square Garden. He did like a residency at the Garden. It was unbelievable. 100 shows. Mommy just told me he did 100 shows. I can't keep track of it. All right, let's talk about, first of all, while we're at it, what do you think the Guardians are going to do against the Pirates this weekend? As if anyone cares. I do. You do. I care. You care. That's all that matters.
That's about it. If you like watching hitters that can hit under 200, then the Guardians are your team, baby. Everybody after that 4 spot, they're all hitting under 200. So they're struggling to score runs. The bullpen has been They're a 500 team. They describe 9-9. So we'll see what happens. They're coming off a tough series against Baltimore where they lost the last 2. They were 0 for 5, I think, yesterday with runner in scoring position. So they just can't bring anything across the plate right now. And they didn't do a whole lot in the offseason. So they brought Carlos Santana back, and that's about it.
You don't think they'll come around at some point this summer and be in it?
Yeah, the only reason I think that is because they're in the AL Central. If they were anywhere else, it'd be a long summer. But they're competitive in the AL Central. They're always competitive in the AL Central. I just think they're going to have to find some offense. And there's a lot of people around here looking at Double-A to Travis Bazzana, the guy they drafted first overall. I know we're not going to see him for a while, but there are a lot of people around here that have our eyes on him. He's hitting the ball really well at Double-A. Can't wait to see him get called up to Triple-A. And then when the Guardians can finally have a second baseman, it'll be Bazzana at second. So I think we're counting down the days for that. It should be a good season, though. It's a good team. They can be competitive. They're where they belong. 500, 9-9.
So I do want to ask you about Watson, and he is bragging about how he's going to be better than ever, and he's going to be back to being a top shelf quarterback, or so he thinks. And he tore that Achilles. What's the story in Cleveland with this guy, and what are fans saying to you on your radio show about their quarterback room and him?
Right, so Scott, what do we mean by top shelf? Like when we were in college and you could get, you could buy anything. You get a shot for like 10 cents or a penny, Kamachka, whatever that stuff was at the bottom of the shelf. Yeah, that's what he is. I can't see him playing for the Browns unless there are major injuries. The hard part about it is if they need a 4th or a 5th quarterback and he's healthy by week 16, 17, or 18, then maybe he'll see the field, but I don't expect to see him playing for the Browns at all. The owner said, Jimmy Haslam said a couple weeks ago that they swung and missed on him. So they are looking for a new quarterback, and they're looking to get out of that contract, and they're looking forward to the future. So we'll see what happens next year if they have to draft a quarterback outside of the number 2 spot, which pretty much everybody around here thinks since they picked up Pickett and Flacco, and we'll see who they draft in the draft coming up.
So just an update. Carson Kelly just hit a 3-run shot. It's 11-10 now. D-backs on the Cubs at Wrigley in a wild baseball game today on the north side of Chicago. Let's go back to Kenny Smallhands. I want to know what you think of getting him as your quarterback in Cleveland. I've already been down this road in Pittsburgh, and he's got a ring in Philly, but it wasn't because of him.
Did he break your heart? That's my question. Did he break your heart?
He did not break my heart. I got nothing against him. They gave him like very slim picking chances in Pittsburgh, 1 season or whatever, and they're like, we're done with him. And I think they have screwed up quarterbacks there like no other of late. And as far as I'm concerned, they just did it again. Wilson, Fields, they had Trubisky. I mean, they've had all these terrible quarterbacks, one after the next.
Well, we're good at that. We're great at terrible quarterbacks here in Cleveland. I think we've had 40-plus starters since '99. So if there was like a doctorate in bad quarterbacks, we would be the med school for the NFL. It's interesting what you said about Pickett, though, because I think there's some people around here that think, with Kevin Stefanski, that maybe he could be a little bit better than what we've seen before. I think they're going to give him every shot in the world to try to win the starting job, especially when you watch the draft and see how far back they draft a quarterback. If for some reason, Cam Ward's there at 2, or they change their mind on Shedeur Sanders is what it seems like. I don't even know what their mind is, but this week it doesn't seem like Shedeur Sanders is going to be their guy at 2. So, if the later you go in the draft, the farther they go in, and then they draft a quarterback down the road, that I would think that Pickett's going to have a chance to be the starting quarterback week 1 for the Browns.
Okay, are they picking Hunter?
That's been the word the last week or so. I don't know if they're playing games or not. I mean, I really like Abdul Carter a lot, but I don't know. This team averaged 15.2 points per game. Pathetic. The worst in the NFL. They've got to figure out a way to score. So, traditionally, who picks a wide receiver or a defensive back? They keep calling him a unicorn because he can play both sides. If he can help out the offense and they can win some games, then yeah, it's the right pick. And he could be, if he's the best athlete in this draft, then I hope they take him. I don't know. I like Abdul Carter. I think he's great. I just don't know what they're going to do. And I can't see them not trying to get some kind of offensive help early in the draft. They're horrible. 15.2 points per game. If you want to count them as 8-point touchdowns, they're not even averaging 2 touchdowns a game.
All right, let's talk about the Cavs. At least you have one good team in Cleveland that's above all the others. The number 1 seed in the East. People still don't respect them. They still think Boston's coming out of the East. What say you?
I hope that it gets the Boston Cavaliers. I hope that's what we see because it could be a great series. I don't know if you remember the last time the Cavaliers were in Boston.
I do
Celtics
remember.
had a gigantic lead, and then they let it slip away, and the Cavs came back. I think that gave them a lot of confidence to think that they can not only beat Boston, but they can beat Boston in Boston, even though they were missing 2 starters that night. If the Cavs and Donovan Mitchell can get on a roll, they're going to be hard to beat, but I think they're beatable. And I think if they don't make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, there are going to be some pretty unhappy Cavalier fans here.
So they'll slaughter the winner of this game tonight in Atlanta in the next round?
I hope so. We thought that against Orlando last year, so I think they should win in 5. If they don't, it's a disappointment.
They are a damn good team.
We know. We're just weary. It's Cleveland. We're worried about everything. You've been here.
I love it. Later, Andy.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
fantasy baseball. Let's be honest, George. There's a lot of things antiquated about this game that we love. Man, like I would love to try some new little wrinkles here. And so for Sam's question here on the show, I think it's at least fair to ask the question, with catchers in fantasy baseball, and sometimes we're playing in 2 catcher leagues, why at this stage of the game? I have no idea. If you're still doing it, you're behind in the times. Buy or sell, catchers should get a fantasy point for throwing out runners trying to steal. So essentially awarding a defensive play to get an offensive point in fantasy. You gonna buy or sell this?
I mean, so this never even crossed my mind. I hate the catcher position because they get hurt so much. You play in a 2-catcher league, I don't know what to tell you. You know, it's like, what are we doing here? There are not 24, assuming a 12-team league, there are not 24 catchers to draft in baseball. It's just not. Although I'm the first person to tell you, Herrera's probably out there in a bunch of leagues there because we didn't see that power coming. No. Should he get a point? I think he's going to do this, by the way. Why a point? What are you throwing out? 1, 2 base runners a week? It's 2 points. Who cares? You know, shouldn't it be more? I mean, if we're going to do this, shouldn't we do it right? Shouldn't it be 5 points? You know, so I would probably go that direction. If you're going to do it right. Give him more points. And by the way, then let's go further. You make an error, you're losing points. No one gets an error anymore. All right, if you get an error, it means you really screwed up. I was watching that Yankee-Pittsburgh game yesterday because I think it was who cares? Somebody hit the ball hard to Isaiah Felipe at shortstop. He didn't have to move, but he dropped it. They called it a hit because he hit the ball hard with 3-hopper. Oh, hard hit, error. So let's do that too. So yeah, I'm kind of on board with this, but you need more than one. It can't just be a point that's meaningless. You need more than one.
Fantasy Sports Today. Weekends starting at 8 a.m. Only on SportsGrid.
I mean, you got to be kidding me. This baseball game in Wrigley Field right now, like Carver High, it's indescribable. I can't even fathom what I'm watching. It's like the craziest game maybe that I've ever seen. It's crazy.
It really is nuts, especially when, and I keep going back to this, I know, but it was 2-1 going into the bottom of the 7th. It's the bottom of the 8th. And it's 12-11. So think about that. It was 2-1. You know what? 3, 6, 7 outs ago. It was a 2-1 game. And since then, there's been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5
23 runs.
23 runs altogether. And so it was 11-7 after the 10-run inning that the Diamondbacks put up in the top of the 8th. The Cubs then respond with a 3-run homer from Carson Kelly, his second of the game.
Right.
And then Kyle Tucker just put them up 12-11.
What a bomb.
Missile to right field out. So,
welcome to Chicago, Tucker.
You got to be kidding me here. And you were just saying, I mean, they can't give this up again, can they? Like, I mean, they might. I mean, it seems like whether it was the wind picking up or just the pitchers have gotten bad, things have gotten serious here.
11 of the 12 Cub runs have come via the home run.
Yeah, well, you can make it 12 out of 13 as Suzuki puts one in the right field seats.
Oh, God, you have got to be kidding me. I've never seen anything like it. If you're in this game, you have got to go get just plastered drunk.
And of course, you know, I love how there's like, you know, what did I just say? There's like 6 home runs now, 7 home runs. And of course, the guy I got, Naylor, didn't hit one. Everyone but Naylor's hit one.
The humanity. It's not your fault, Carver High. Don't take it out on yourself.
Hopefully we can turn the lineup back around in the top half.
Honestly, this is the craziest game I maybe have ever seen on this show. Like, definitely on this show. We have never sat through anything like this on this show of any game ever, of any sport. We have never, like, it was 2-1 8 outs ago. It's 13-11. Every guy up is hitting a home run. It's almost like Mr. Magoo's blowing the wind out. Like, what is happening here in this game?
it's an absolute nuts game, and I don't think it's over. I think there's more to come before they get out of there at Wrigley today. All right,
Another
about,
one. No, that's not a home run. That's a hit,
dropped
though.
in for a single. The cameraman got excited after the last couple. Thought he was getting another homer
drunk.
there. How about some hockey?
Everybody loves hockey.
Everybody does love hockey. Now, the regular season's over, thank God. I mean, there's only one thing I'm going to talk to you about from last night. So the Penguins beat the Capitals 5-2 in Pittsburgh. Now, Sidney Crosby, no playoff hockey for him this year, but he was able to become the first player to ever reach 90 points at least 3 times after turning 35 years old. He had an absolutely ridiculous assist on one goal early in the game, behind the back, across the crease. I believe it was to Rust who put it in. And then, of course, Sid had to do a little bit of his own handiwork as well on ESPN.
Retrieved by Tomasino, walking in. Score! Sidney Crosby makes it a 2-goal lead.
Too bad they are hairdryer city. I mean, like, he's amazing, and the rest of the team stinks.
Rest of the team absolutely stinks, which is why the Penguins are not.
Honest to Christ, go to Cabo. Go work on your tan. I mean, what a disaster. Kyle Dubas, great job you've done in Pittsburgh, dude. And then they're going to let you be in charge of the Canadian national team? What a disaster you are. Unbelievable. Honestly, I'd rather be thrown in a wood chipper.
The Rangers finished off their season by beating Tampa 4-0. They said goodbye to Sam Rosen. They all wore number 40 jerseys in the warm-ups. They made him the first star of the game. Actually, my favorite part was after the game when the reporters asked Artemi Panarin, was there any thought of not playing tonight? You know, with that story that came out yesterday morning? And his response was, no, why? That was Panarin's answer.
Yeah.
I guess he doesn't read the papers or social media.
Yeah, well,
no,
he paid off that chick, so there's no problem there. Give her a bunch of money to shut her up.
No, why? The NHL set an attendance record. Oh, by the way, the Flames beat the Kings.
Of course they did.
The Flames, 96 points, tied the most points ever to not make the playoffs. The Flames this year with their 96 points that they finished with. What a shame. NHL sets an attendance record. They surpassed 23 million fans this season.
Every year they surpass
Congratulations. They should. Every year they end up passing
ratings
another marker.
And attendance are always through the roof. Profits. There's no such thing as CTE or concussions. Just know that.
There's no such thing at all. All right, so that means we're done with all that. It is time. The Stanley Cup playoffs will begin tomorrow, round number 1. And, you know, they've spaced these games out a little bit too much. Like, only 2 games on Saturday, 3 game ones on Sunday, a couple more on Monday night, and then Tampa and Florida don't start until Tuesday, which is just,
what are they giving them time off? I mean, what is happening there?
So there is the full game 1 schedule. And I'm going to go through, of course, the ones on the weekend with you when we come back. But we do have to wait until Monday to discuss Caps, Habs, Oilers, Kings, and then even further than that. And I believe I saw they couldn't play tomorrow because they didn't want any of the teams that played last night to have only 1 day off before the playoffs. So that eliminated Tampa and Washington, and I guess LA. They played last night too, so that's why they couldn't play. And then TV dictates everything else. So I'll give you the numbers for all the weekend games when we come back. The Stanley Cup
unbelievable
playoffs.
To me that Tampa and Florida game 1 is Tuesday night at Amalie in Tampa. Christ, it's like a week from now.
Yeah, long time.
Who else who can maybe provide a test, who can maybe be a challenger and a contender elsewhere around the Eastern Conference.
Top 2 is going to be a runaway, but I guess if I had to choose, Ben, it's going to be the Knicks. At least they have the talent to somehow upset teams that are better than them, but they can't in the regular season. Maybe it changes in the playoffs.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
We know what Chris Sale can bring. I was personally high on Schwallenbach. Smith-Shawver, their other starter, looks okay to kind of bad. They need to I don't want to say tread water, so I think that puts it in a bad light, but that's what they ultimately need to do. They need to tread water until Strider gets back, until Acuna gets back, and maybe it's just part of the team morale mentality that we're not at full strength, we need to kick things into gear once those guys get here.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
They have already decided, it would appear to me, from what you're telling me, that they're satisfied with the quarterback room as it stands now.
Shedeur Sanders does not have the value to go at number 3. I know they need a quarterback. It's about this season with Russell Wilson, okay? No question he's going to be the starter. Winston will back him up. But the future they can get next year.
Ferrall Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
So we're talking about the Stanley Cup playoffs because everybody loves hockey.
Everybody does love hockey. 2 game ones on Saturday. We will start in Ferrallapeg, where the Blues and the Jets will get together. A game 1 here. You and Denny were talking about it earlier. Interesting matchup. President's Trophy winning Winnipeg Jets, who have Connor Hellebuck. He's had problems, of course, in the playoffs in the past. The Blues come in. They played great hockey down the stretch to get themselves in, and they have a Stanley Cup winning goaltender in Jordan Binnington. Game 1 will have the Winnipeg Jets at minus $1.90, St. Louis at plus $1.60, total 5.5 for the first game on Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, these games are phenomenal. I got to tell you, because they're always, in my view, either 1-goal games or overtime games. So you're going to have to pay the price. I think it's, for me, I got the Jets at minus $1.70, and I took it. I think they'll win game 1 at Ferrallapeg at home. I think they're a really deep, fast, talented team. They mean business. I know they're jinxed with the President's Cup, but I don't think that carries much weight for me in game 1.
And for the series, I think they're going to find a way. I actually like Winnipeg in 6. I think St. Louis will get a couple games off of them. St. Louis is a good team, but I think that Winnipeg has been good enough all year that they're going to get out of the first round. I can't see them having some first-round disaster.
I'm with you.
The second game on Saturday. Of course, this one's going to be a lot of fun. Colorado and Dallas, 2 of the best in the league, and they got to meet in the first round. Colorado now favored in game 1. I've even got them pumped up to minus 135, a road favorite in Dallas, plus $1.15 for the Stars, 5.5. I've seen some flat 5s in some spots as well for game 1 between these two. Robertson, of course, hurt. No update for him because, of course, this is the NHL. You'll never get an update, but doesn't look like he's going to play.
Well, they've already written them off. They're finished. They're done. They have no chance. So I'll take the Stars and the $1.18 at home ice. With their goalie, and I say Sagan and company, he's back. I don't think he's in phenomenal hockey, cardio shape, but I still think they're a really good team. And let's see if Rantanen and company can win on home ice. I mean, let's see if they can get it done here. everyone thinks it's automatic that they're dead without this guy Robertson, and I think that's a dangerous way to make a living.
I think it's a dangerous way too, especially when you consider. I think that Dallas has. We talked about this yesterday. I think they have a substantial goalie edge in this series. Substantial goalie edge, and I know that Colorado's going to think that they can win a cup with Mackenzie Blackwood playing goalie for them. That's going to be very difficult. They better be real good if they think they're going to win a cup with him between the pipes in this series. I think it goes long, too. I think 7 games, Scotty, for Dallas and Colorado in this one. Sunday, Game 1, Devils and Hurricanes. 3 o'clock East face-off in Raleigh. Canes minus 210, I get this at now. Devils plus $1.75 and a 5.5.
I want the Devils, but I think the Canes will puck line their ass at plus 135 and beat them by 2 or more.
Yeah, I think the Devils are going to find a way in a couple of these games. I'm not sure it's going to be in game. I'm not sure it's going to be game 1.
Yeah.
But I do think that they might even win game 2 in Carolina and go home 1-1 back to the Rock. But I think that the first game is going to be very difficult for them to come out and get. Middle game on Sunday. Game 1 between Ottawa and Toronto. Toronto now minus $1.60, plus 135 for the Sens. 5.5 the total. I was surprised. Did I hear Denny say he's taking the Sens to beat the Leafs in the first round? Did I hear that?
You did. And I'll tell you what, after he said that, I'm going to go for it and take the Senators. When he said they beat them 4 times this year, give me the Senators at plus $1.35 on Sunday.
Maybe they beat him on Sunday. I still don't believe that the Leafs are going to completely pike again against this team. That they can't. This is set up so nice. They should fold the franchise
if they do, Mike.
They cannot pike with this. All right, I'll finish the hockey when we come back. Runner on second, 2 out, and Corbin Carroll
I just saw the double into the corner.
and they're getting, and that's it. He popped out. So 13-11 final for the Cubs. They win this wild game at Wrigley.
What a game! The over.
Fantasy baseball. Let's be honest, George. There's a lot of things antiquated about this game that we love. Man, I would love to try some new little wrinkles here. And so for Sam's question here on the show, I think it's at least fair to ask the question with catchers in fantasy baseball. And sometimes we're playing in 2 catcher leagues. Why at this stage of the game? I have no idea. If you're still doing it, you're behind in the times. Buy or sell, catchers should get a fantasy point for throwing out runners trying to steal. So essentially awarding a defensive play to get an offensive point in fantasy. You going to buy or sell this?
I mean, so this never even crossed my mind. I hate the catcher position because they get hurt so much. You play in a 2 catcher league, I don't know what to tell you. It's like, what are we doing here? There are not 24, so we get 12-team league. There are not 24 catchers to draft in baseball. It's just not. Although I'm the first person to tell you, Herrera's probably out there in a bunch of leagues there because we didn't see that power coming. No. Should he get a point? I think they're going to do this, by the way. Why a point? What are you throwing out? 1, 2 base runners a week? It's 2 points. Who cares? Should it be more? I mean, if we're going to do this, shouldn't we do it right? Shouldn't it be 5 points? So I would probably go that direction. If you're going to do it right. Give him more points. And by the way, then let's go further. You make an error, you're losing points. No one gets an error anymore. All right, if you get an error, it means you really screwed up. I was watching that Yankee-Pittsburgh game yesterday because I think it was, who cares? Somebody hit the ball hard to Isaiah Felifa. It's a shortstop. He didn't have to move, but he dropped it. They called it a hit because he hit the ball hard with 3-hopper. Oh, hard hit, error. So let's do that too. So yeah, I'm kind of on board with this, but you need more than one. It can't just be a point that's meaningless. You need more than one.
Fantasy Sports Today. Weekends starting at 8 a.m. Only on SportsGrid.
Carver High is livid about the Arizona loss to the Cubs due to the nature of his brilliance on taters. The guy hits more home run bets than anyone on earth, but he had Naylor going today, and he failed to come through for us. So he will be punished severely by Coast to Coast and its fans.
Look, I'm a little stubborn sometimes. I'm like this with the golf too. It's like with Rory last week with the Masters. Like, he was under 10-1, and what do I say to you every week? Like, I just won't bet a guy under 10-1 when there's 72 holes of golf left. Like, I just can't do it. It's like a principle, and I'm not breaking it, and that's just the way that it is. And I'm like that with homers too. Like, anything under plus 300, it's hard to do. Like, hitting homers is not easy. Like, it is a hard bet to hit. And when you start talking, like, I mean, these guys today, I saw Suarez at plus 185. Like, I saw Tucker at plus 230. Like, and look what that game was till the 7th. It was a 2-1 game. There was nothing happening. And yes, did it all blow up and everyone got to cash their plus 200 home run tickets? Yes, they did. I went with the guy a little further down the board when I caught Naylor at 420 this morning. So, look, I hope everybody goes to the window and get him. But for me, under plus 300, I just can't do it.
It's not happening.
It's just not enough. It's not enough gas for me. I need a lot of gas in the tank.
We need a lot
if
of
I'm going to
gas.
go after these things.
And we like guys that juice, too.
Right. We need all of that going on. The last game on Sunday night, game 1, will be Minnesota at the T-Mobile against the Knights. The Knights are big favorites here in the series and the game. I've actually seen them pumped up to 185 now. 5.5 the total. Minnesota plus $138. I'm with exactly. I heard Denny say this to you. I am with him 100%. I don't know if Minnesota is even going to win a game in this series. I don't even think we'll get a gentleman's sweep. I think it'll be 4.
I'm glad I bet it at $1.65, and it's since skyrocketed to almost $2. So just game 1. So and I love going to games there. They got M&Ms in the press box.
They do have M&Ms in the press box for you as well on that. And then Monday we'll be back, and we will do all those other series that didn't start yet. Montreal, Washington, Edmonton and the Kings. They'll all start Monday. But
to me again, why? I don't want to hear it. Why is the Tampa series not starting till Tuesday? That is unbelievable to me. Like, are they just like saying, we want you two to be the best series in hockey, so we're gonna just give you off until Tuesday night? Like, that is crazy. Are they gonna make them play like Wednesday and Friday and Sunday, or what?
No,
what is the deal?
They've got a regular day off schedule after that. I mean, they're playing
Billy
Tuesday,
Joel
Thursday.
and Emily on Sunday night.
No, I checked last night because I was curious. Why are we waiting so long? I knew Saturday because they played last night. They weren't going to play on Saturday. But there's nothing at Amalie Sunday or Monday.
So why wouldn't they play?
I don't know why. That's a league office question for why they had to wait till Tuesday to start.
Maybe they have
the
a
Lightning
concussion.
and the Panthers.
The league office. Maybe they have a concussion.
It's possible. I mean, the only thing and the thing is, and there's 2 other East series playing Tuesday night, so it's not. I can't even be a TV thing. It's very bizarre, but it is what it is. Just like I did with the NBA. Before they start, I'll give it to you one last time, and that is to win the cup before they start the playoffs.
Oh, my God.
Carolina and Colorado at plus 650, Florida and Vegas, Edmonton, Winnipeg, Tampa, and Washington.
Yeah, I have no comment other than on that. Like, on that board, for me, it's and I'm just gonna say it: Edmonton, Winnipeg, and the Capitals. That's it for me. I don't care about jinxes and the President's Trophy and all this other nonsense. I do not believe for 1 minute that the Carolina Hurricanes are winning the Stanley Cup at all. And the Avs, I guess, I'm not buying the Panthers either. Vegas has a shot without a doubt, but for me, I'm not buying any of that. I have no time for that. In fact, I can't even look at it.
And how about a week ago I gave that to you, and Dallas was either
on top.
first or second choice, and they're now 12-1 because of this Robertson injury / playing the Avalanche in the
Guy
first round.
Lafleur. They act like he's Guy Lafleur.
He's not Gretzky. He's a great player. He's a really good player. He's an exciting player. He's not Lemieux or Gretzky. Like, I don't think that we needed to move the number that much.
I know. It's unbelievable. And who's to say he's not going to come back in a week?
You don't even know what's exactly wrong with him. They're not going to tell you. He can be back in a week. He can be back in
fractured his tibia.
Look, if you're a believer in buying low, if you like to buy low, you could buy the Stars really low right now. You can absolutely buy the Stars low going into the playoffs because
why not?
The numbers have fallen. That's for sure. There you go. The Stanley Cup playoffs. There's nothing like
hockey.
It. Everybody loves hockey. All right. We do have a few football-related items for you today, too. The Bills brought back Trey White on a one-year deal worth $6.8 million. I wouldn't have given him $600,000. I don't think I would have gave him after watching him the last 2 years in L.A. and Baltimore. But
turning on his boy.
Well, look, it is what it is. Either you could still play or you can't. And this is the NFL. You know, it is what it is. He had some good moments before he busted his knee up a couple times, but I don't know about giving him 6.8 this year. Browns general manager Andrew Berry says it's too early to say if Deshaun Watson will play in 2025. Okay.
Andy Baskin just said he's not even going to touch the field.
I wouldn't even invite him. Like I wouldn't even bring him in the building. Like I wouldn't even have him hanging around the guys. Like I would just say, go make those videos, those TikTok videos down in the Caribbean.
I bet he knows some good hookers. Are we on the air?
Whoa!
No, don't talk about the shot or hooker. Get back to sports. Okay.
Yeah. Look, I think his days are over. I'll say this: he made a lot of money. He got a good hamburglar situation with how much money he got.
He got it all. The hamburglar,
Browns,
your boy over there, right there. He got it all figured
out. With what he did. Eagles tight end Dallas Goedert could be traded at the draft. Yeah, he's got 1 year left on his deal.
They're gonna screw him for sure. That's how they operate in Philly. They're gonna get rid of him. They got 1 year left. Trade his ass now while he's worth like a piece, like a draft pick, and that's the end of him. And they already got what they wanted out of him. They got a ring.
Got a ring out of him. And now, like you said, selling high before he becomes a free agent next year and they lose him for nothing is pretty much what they're going to do. And they've got so many offensive stars on that team. That
send him to Jacksonville.
It's like the island of misfit toys, right? Send everybody to the Jaguars. Duval County. And I know you're going to be excited for a new Brett Favre doc. On Netflix, another Brett Favre piece.
It's about his downfall, about his life, which should be actually enjoyable when you think about it. It's better than watching the Aaron Rodgers 3-part series of his greatness and all of his problems and love life and euthanasia and all this other bullshit. I don't even want him anymore at all. I never did, and I don't want him now. I don't care what he does. Retire, go make babies, do something. Stay away from my football team. Stay away from it. I'd rather have no quarterback than you.
The rest of the stuff I have has to be in leftovers because this Kadarius Toney story is what leftovers was made for. Was this kind of story? I got to save it for leftovers. It's too good.
Want to play roulette? Here's a tip. European roulette has a lower house edge than American style. The lower the house edge, the better shot you have at winning. Most online casinos offer European roulette. So, if I were you, I'd get spinning. Now, go get lucky. See you in Lost Pages. Let's get lucky.
Okay, what tools can you use to measure those things a bit? And that's where you have like force plates and 3D motion and you know, launch monitors, things like that. But that's all just sort of like measuring what's happening. That doesn't necessarily explain why one guy's really good and another guy's not really good. And that's where there's still kind of like this ongoing, how do you like continue to do research to understand that better? And I think that's going to last well past my lifetime.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
I'm still optimistic eventually this will happen and they'll get it together. I mean, if Florida can get their act together, Sam, with the tribes, I believe that California can too.
Would bring a lot of money to the tribe, which is also something they really care about. It's an $8 billion market. Conservatively, it could be even more when it legalizes. The sports books would be sharing revenue with the tribes, essentially doing all their operations and forking over a percentage directly to the tribes.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
King of the featherweight division for the BKFC. That is King Kai Stewart, who is joining us now, still the champion of the featherweight.
Though he did get dominated, he was still throwing big shots. He landed a lot bigger shots on Palomino than he did me, and I wasn't really impressed. Palomino's getting older. He is definitely a former GOAT. He has done amazing things in this sport, but it's just my time.
Only on SportsGrid.
My favorite part of it was Bill Bender's reaction. Bill Bender was crying. He had to wipe it.
Oh, man. Never a dull moment, Scott. Thanks for having me on, right?
I gotta tell you, Bill Bender is Sporting News, one of our favorites. College football guru on Coast to Coast. What a mess I am. That was so funny. That was one of my all-time favorite butchery of a word. All right, so I want to talk about this kid that's ruined college football as he's transferred now, before I butcher his name, to UCLA. Hey, at least, look, I got to give the kid credit. I mean, Knoxville's incredible. My daughter's applying to school there. It's a great place. Incredible sports, incredible atmosphere, Neyland, everything else. But honestly, if you're going to transfer somewhere, why not to Westwood and UCLA? I even said looking at the cheerleaders is better.
Well, there's no teaching moment to the whole situation. That's what I wrote about earlier in the week. Like, Tennessee can say we took a stand, Scott, but it feels like they took one for the team for the rest of college football. And you know how that fan base is, where if they're 8-4 at the end of the season or 7-5, taking a stand only gets you so far. I thought when Nico Iamaleava transferred that he might end up on the West Coast, but isn't it strange that he ends up in a place where his brother, Madden, flipped in January and went to Arkansas? And with handlers, and what phrase is probably the most annoying phrase in college football right now, Scott, is those in Iamaleava's camp or those in this quarterback's camp. Like, we have camps now? I mean, what are we doing? This isn't the NFL. It's trying too hard to be in the NFL. And I made the analogy last week. I said it's like a quarterback holding out and seeking free agency at the same time, and that's what happened.
And now, holdouts, and now agents, the seedy side of professional sports has bled all over college sports.
Yeah, and until we have, everybody says we need NIL guardrails. What does that mean? Do we need the 2-year contract to make them employees of the university? Does that slow down the number of people in the transfer portal? Ross Dellinger had a story today about the rates of kids that haven't found a home that got in the transfer portal, haven't found a school to play at. And I think that's another alarming thing that you get into. It's ugly. My editors might not feel the same way as I do. I think for the traditional college football fan, I feel like you and I are that. It's a turnoff. It's another reason that you're like this. I'm not asking us to go back to 1994 by any means, but you know what we're doing right now. It's ugly. It's not college football as we know it.
I can't stand it. And, I argue with everyone that comes on about it. Like, I got guys coming on here that are big time media people saying they have no problem at all with the money that's being thrown around. I have a massive issue with it personally. I'm worried about, as Steve Alford said, a bunch of stupid kids walking around the earth with no careers and no jobs and no degrees. And they're making all this money now, whatever. Who do you think in that portal could actually make college football better for, themselves and for teams and for conferences, and that we could actually grab onto?
Well, we need to, in general with the portal, what I think would work is if you want to transfer one time, go ahead. That's fine. If you're Nico and you want to transfer, that's fine. What he should have done, honestly, is just started this process after they lost to Ohio State in the college football playoff. Then nobody would have blinked. We would have said, oh, that's a big move. But, other 4- and 5-star quarterbacks have done that. Cam Ward has done it twice. So, in terms of a quarterback, Steve Angeli at Notre Dame, if he chooses to get in the portal, he could be an answer for Tennessee. Potentially they could find somebody else.
That's what he's doing, right? Isn't he?
Right.
Isn't he in it already?
Yeah, and I think that's one guy they should look at. He stepped in, had a good game against Penn State when they needed it. Experienced quarterback and can be a stopgap. They've got another 5-star quarterback coming to campus next year. So we'll see what they learned from Nico. But, the people that I've talked to about that situation say, and here's the other problem, Scott. When you're handing a 17-year-old a 4-year contract at $8 million, you can say it's NIL, but it's money. It's paying to play. Are we shocked that things like this happen?
No, not at all. You wrote a piece on where you think these quarterbacks are going to go in this draft in Green Bay. Tell people what you wrote about.
Yeah, we've got the first round. We know where Cam Ward's going. Do the Giants actually take Shedeur Sanders? Is there a case for them to do that? Or does he fall to the Saints? I guess that's my question that will dictate where everybody else goes. I do like Jackson Dart. I think he'll get drafted in the first round. It's just a matter, is it Pittsburgh or New Orleans? And Aaron Rodgers, when he figures out whatever he needs to figure out on whatever he's on to figure that out, I think we'll have some clarity there. I can't start again, but
don't start. It's bad enough. I'm going to get injured.
I'm this close to starting again. But what do you think? Does Giants GM take Shedeur Sanders?
I don't
as
think
kind
so.
of but as in maybe like an about face after what happened with Saquon, or do they go Abdul Carter? If not, Shedeur could plummet to maybe number 9 or lower.
So what about the kid from Louisville? Where does he end up, in 2nd, 3rd round?
If I'm Cleveland, I look there. If you're not going to have Deshaun Watson and you're not going to take Shedeur Sanders, why not bring him in, let him learn from Joe Flacco, similar body type, 6'5" guy, skinny, can throw it around a little bit, played well under Jeff Brom. Have him learned under Joe Flacco for a year. That's actually a smart move if Cleveland takes Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter with the number 2 pick.
The only person that hit more games than Lee Corso over the last 40 years is Bill Bender. Bill, have a great Easter weekend, buddy. Good to see you.
Want to play roulette? Here's a tip. European roulette has a lower house edge than American style. The lower the house edge, the better shot you have at winning. Most online casinos offer European roulette. So, if I were you, I'd get spinning. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
Okay, what tools can you use to measure those things a bit? And that's where you have like force plates and 3D motion and launch monitors, things like that. But that's all just sort of like measuring what's happening. That doesn't necessarily explain why one guy's really good and another guy's not really good. And that's where there's still kind of like this ongoing, how do you like continue to do research to understand that better? And I think that's going to last well past my lifetime.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
I'm still optimistic eventually this will happen and they'll get it together. I mean, if Florida can get their act together, Sam, with the tribes, I believe that California can too.
Would bring a lot of money to the tribes, which is also something they really care about. It's an $8 billion market. Conservatively, it could be even more when it legalizes. The sports books would be sharing revenue with the tribes, essentially doing all their operations and forking over a percentage directly to the tribes.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
King of the featherweight division for the BKFC. That is King Kai Stewart, who is joining us now, still the champion of the featherweight.
Though he did get dominated, he was still throwing big shots. He landed a lot bigger shots on Palomino than he did me, and I wasn't really impressed. Palomino's getting older. He is definitely a former GOAT. He has done amazing things in this sport, but it's just my time.
Only on SportsGrid.
All right, it's obviously a huge Easter weekend. Hope everybody has a fantastic holiday with their family and friends. For all of us, Mafia, Lou, Carver High, Ferrall, we wish you a great holiday for you and your family and friends, and everybody have a safe holiday weekend. It's time for leftovers.
It is time for leftovers. We were talking earlier, this just came across my desk, the Jazz Chisholm stuff about how he got tossed out of that game last night and then went and tweeted on his phone afterwards. MLB players are prohibited from using electronic devices during a game. So not only did he get a FedEx for a fine from Major League Baseball, they also gave him a one-game suspension, Scotty, to go along with it. He is appealing that suspension, so he's in the lineup tonight against the Rays in Tampa. Rest of the leftovers, Kadarius Toney. Of course, I guess you could now say former NFL wide receiver. He went on Instagram Live and said he's retiring from the NFL and he wants to be considered a rapper now full-time, using the name Young Joker. That's J-O-K-A, Young Joker, for Kadarius Toney.
I think he later said he's not retiring, but he is Young Joker. But what he should do is retire both. He should retire from football because he sucks, and he should retire from Young Joker because that's, weak-ass stuff.
It really is. Next up, Jake Paul, getting back in the ring, I guess you could say, in June. He's going to face 39-year-old former champion Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., June 28th at the Duck Pond in Anaheim, the Honda Center. Can this guy fight someone his own age?
No.
Like what?
I could beat up Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Honestly, little Willie could beat him up.
And I guess the Paul brother, he's the brother's part of the big WrestleMania extravaganza in Vegas this weekend, right? A big WrestleMania 40-something going on this week. I'm going to stop
pretending like I give a flying F about that stupid event either.
There you go. They're taking over the Strip this weekend. Duke, Kentucky, and North Carolina are among the 10 college basketball teams that reportedly spend $10 million or more on NIL contracts. We also have the rest of the list: Arkansas, Indiana, BYU, Louisville, Michigan State, St. John's, and Texas Tech. The top 10 all spending $10 million plus in NIL.
I'm just glad Indiana's spending money on football and basketball, and they still suck.
They are spending money. We'll give them that. They're in the top 10. Greg Popovich, of course, he did not coach most of the year after the health incident. Well, he fainted at a restaurant on Tuesday night. Was taken by ambulance to a hospital for a medical emergency. That was Tuesday. Looks like doing better, Pop.
Listen, it's over for him. It really is. Can we just it's got to end. Strokes and fainting. I mean, what is next? You gonna drop dead?
I don't think he'll be coaching anymore. I mean, that's just kind of my look at it. What is he now anyway? He's 76. Greg Popovich.
Oh my God. It's just the end of the road, bro. Let's go. Ferrall finished off. Florida State shooting suspect. What a dork this kid is. Have you seen this loser? And the son of the sheriff. He's the son of the sheriff in Leon County. Oh my God. What a failure. Former TV anchor's ex-wife tried to have a hitman make him disappear and be put underground. I think that is just fantastic. California man arrested for threatening to bomb Coachella. Doesn't someone always threaten to bomb Coachella with all the body odor that's going on there? Massive nude woman sculpture in San Francisco sparks a reaction and a public outcry after the unraveling of this giant nude woman. Prada strikes a $1.4 billion deal for Versace. You know there's mob ties there. Tourist loses both hands while snorkeling in Turks and Caicos after a shark attacks during a failed photo op. Imagine trying to take a picture underwater with your lovely date and having shark bite your hands off. You lose. GCD is next with the mayor of Miami, Joe Ranieri. Get my app, search Ferrall. We'll see you Monday at 3. Enjoy all the Stanley Cup and NBA playoffs. I'll see you again on Coast to Coast.
Want to play roulette? Here's a tip. European roulette has a lower house edge than American style. The lower the house edge, the better shot you have at winning. Most online casinos offer European roulette. So, if I were you, I'd get spinning. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
Okay, what tools can you use to measure those things a bit? And that's where you have like force plates and 3D motion and launch monitors, things like that. But that's all just sort of like measuring what's happening. That doesn't necessarily explain why one guy's really good and another guy's not really good. And that's where there's still kind of like this ongoing, how do you like continue to do research to understand that better? And I think that's going to last well past my lifetime.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
I'm still optimistic eventually this will happen and they'll get it together. I mean, if Florida can get their act together, Sam, with the tribes, I believe that California can too.
Would bring a lot of money to the tribe, which is also something they really care about. It's an $8 billion market. Conservatively, it could be even more when it legalizes. The sports books would be sharing revenue with the tribes, essentially doing all their operations and forking over a percentage directly to the tribes.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
King of the featherweight division for the BKFC, that is King Kai Stewart, who is joining us now, still the champion of the featherweight.
Though he did get dominated, he was still throwing big shots. He landed a lot bigger shots on Palomino than he did me, and I wasn't really impressed. Palomino's getting older. He is definitely a former GOAT. He has done amazing things in this sport, but it's just my time.
Only on SportsGrid.